Hi everyone, my name is Michelle White, and this is my tutorial on the user application. So as you guys can see here, we are in user management. You guys are seeing some applications on the left side that you might not see currently right now. We do have some new features sort of kind of rolling out in 2020, so you guys are getting a nice little sneak peek of what's to come. But today in this tutorial, we're going to talk about a couple things. So the first thing we're going to talk about is what's the different level permissions. We're going to sort of show you guys how to create a user. And then the user permissions, there's sort of like two levels. That's just how I see it. The first level is obviously giving that user some sort of group or some sort of status. But then on top of that, each application has this sort of security property that you can sort of come down now and really grind into even like a higher level of detail. And that's kind of what we'll talk about as well. So let's go over the permission levels. So there are three permissions, or I should say groups, three permission groups, I apologize. So the first group is what we call a super admin. Now anyone who's a super admin, technically or not technically, but usually on the left side, they're seeing all the applications. There's nothing being hidden from them. They have complete access to everything. Usually super admins are usually the people who are sort of charge of the network health and stuff like that. So they're gonna want the highest permission possible. Now, right behind that, we have what we call an admin. Now, an admin has the same rights as a super admin. They can go in, they can, create stuff, and they can sort of manage, but they cannot override what a super admin has done. Lastly, then we have a user. User is just your generic user. Basically, a lot of times, at least with what we see, is your generic user is not going to see all the applications on the left side. Maybe their job is just to publish to a playlist. Well, in that case, that's when they log in, that's all they're going to see. I always kind of use the saying is what you see is what you get kind of a thing when it comes to a generic user. To give you a better example, guys, just to kind of understand when to sort of use a generic user or use that user group, a really good example is usually like a school or a university where they might have student helpers help them. Well, it's like, well, I don't know if I want to give that student helper, access to all these applications. I just want, her, him, or whoever. I just want them to sort of log in and sort of publish to that one announcement. So that would be sort of a good scenario where you would have sort of that super admin who's like the teacher, the instructor, the professor, and then underneath that you'd have that student helper. So let's go ahead and sort of tackle how you create a user. So obviously you need the user application available. Group users cannot create users, only super admins can, so that's kind of an important thing to sort of note. So what I'm going to do, you guys, I'm going to hit the blue button that says create user, and then I'm just going to basically fill out this information. So let's come up with a name. I usually like to do Bobby Joe as my kind of go-to. So here I am, his name's Bobby Joe. I don't know why I put the username in there, but I did, so let's just kind of refix this. Apologize for that. All right, so his name's Bobby Joe, and his email is bobby_joe123@gmail. All right, so it's not Gmail. There we go. So yep, obviously put an email in there, and then the username. So bobbyjoe123, and then you want to give that person a password. Now, for this scenario, guys, I'm just going to do the exact same thing, just to kind of keep it simple. Of course, you guys would sort of modify that. And then here are those groups, you guys. So we have the super admin, we have the admin, and we have the user. Now for our scenario, let's just say that I am the super admin because we have all the applications on the left side. So Bobby Joe is just a user, and I'm going to keep it on there. Now cell phone, what this means is you guys can enter your cell phone number. You definitely don't need to. But at any point, if you ever wanted to restart your password or you forgot the password and you wanted, like a way to sort of reset it, right now, for you to do that, it actually goes to your email, but maybe you would want that to go through your cell phone. That's kind of basically what it's establishing there. So I'm not going to do the phone number. I'm going to skip it, though, and I'm going to hit next. All right, so then it's going to ask you, okay, well, we've got this user. His name's Bobby Joe, and it looks like you have multiple facilities. Some of our clients have this set up. Some of us just have one. Each client's a little bit different, but in this scenario, I'm going to say, okay, yep, you know what, he's underneath me. This is our location. I'm going to give him access to this particular facility. And then I'm going to hit next again, you guys. Now, one step that's sort of missing here, or just not missing, but one thing I just want to point out is that we do SSOs. So if you do have an SSO set up with us, the next step before this would actually be sort of adding that ID and sort of going through that process. But my facility right here just doesn't have that, so that's kind of why it's skipped. Now, basically we're in the last part, and so it says, okay, do you want Bobby Joe to have access to all the applications on the left side? Well, I don't. I kind of want to go back to my scenario there where it's like what he sees is kind of what he gets. I kind of want to control what he has access to. He's a student helper. So this is where I can sort of choose and pick what he can see. So I'm going to say, all right, I want him to have the dashboard, and I want him to update sort of content to the announcements. And you know what, he's really a big part of our social media, so I definitely want to make sure he's sort of maintaining that. So now I'm sort of choosing what he can see on the left side. And then we will just hit finish. And already then that user will basically get generated, it'll get created. No, I do not want to save that to my to my Google there. But this process will go, and then basically what happens is that you can go and give Bobby that username and password, and then when he logs in, he's only going to see what basically we gave him access to see. So once this loads up here, you guys, I'm going to unimpersonate, and then I'm going to re-impersonate Bobby, just so you can see the difference of how the left side changes. So here I'm under my super admin account. I can see all this. Now I'm going to unimpersonate, and I'm going to re-impersonate the user that you and I just created. And you'll see sort of the left side here quickly just established. As you can see, I hit a lot of applications because I only want him to have access to, these sort of 4 or 5 different applications. So let's kind of go back here and sort of unimpersonate, and we're going to kind of re-impersonate my super admin. All right, so we'll go back to users here. All right, so that was how easy it is to create a user. Now, one thing to you guys, as a super admin, you will be able to impersonate all of your users. Just because I'm under that root account, I have to do an extra step here. But if you do go up to this little icon right here, you would be able to impersonate, Bobby Joe or Alex or Vang, and sort of kind of spy on them and make sure that their permission levels are right. Now, before we dig into that second level of user permissions, I do want to go over this right here. So my user list. What this does, you guys, if you're a super admin and you are part of, maybe not part of, but you are, you have multiple locations, you have multiple facilities, like a network health or an organization of different locations or facilities. That's just the way I sort of refer to it. There is a way where you can sort of see all the users that are created under that organization. It's really easy, you guys, once you're sort of a super admin out of all of them, by you simply clicking here, you'll see a whole list of all the users that are created within that network. So that's kind of nice too, because you're managing sort of multiple locations, you have multiple players. It's really important that you're sort of given the tools to make sure that these users that are getting created, they're not calling support and trying to get a super admin account. They're staying at that user level. So that's what that button is for. And so the second part of our tutorial is to talk about, what are these security properties here? Like, what does that mean? So there are sort of security properties kind of located all over. One is located in the player tab. And so it's actually right here in the tab called security. Now, what this does, you guys, is basically if Bobby Joe comes and logs in, right? And I have these 3 players. Well, I only want Bobby to see the Michelle desk, right? He goes to the dashboard. Currently, as a default, he can see all 3 players. But I'm like, oh, I don't know if I like that. I really just want him to see Michelle's desk. What this security tab will do is that it will allow you to hide the remaining players. That way, when he logs in, sure, he has access to the dashboard, but again, he's only seeing that 1 player instead of the 3. Layout editor, what this permission does is basically it hides all the layouts, or maybe you want to give him access to only read the layout. He can't modify, he can't edit, he can't do anything, but all he can do is sort of just read it. He can just see sort of the zones. Maybe you want to give him full access. You're like, okay, Bobby, you know what? You want to create your own layout? You go right ahead. However, maybe you don't want him touching some of the stuff you've already established. So you can hide all these individual layouts. That way when Bobby logs in, maybe he only sees the reach marketing. Media library and playlist, you guys, we're going to skip over sort of that to security. This is actually one of the new features that's coming in 2020. It's actually going to replace our announcement application. So more news to come, but we'll skip over that. But however, the permission still works the same way. Now, permissions, this is where you're publishing content, and this is where our users have multiple playlists. Again, maybe when Bobby logs in, I only want him to see the Michelle playlist. So what I can do, you guys, is I can go ahead and hide these other playlists. And again, by sort of clicking on the security property here, you can see how you can quickly sort of come in here and sort of manage that. To take it even to another level, maybe Bobby and Michelle are the same permissions, and they are both going into this Michelle playlist, and they're both publishing content, and you're like, oh wow, okay, I see two different permissions, but I really only want Bobby to see his stuff. I don't even want him to see that the student helper is publishing content. Again, we could even take it down to that level. Again, that's all in the security property. We could even take it to where if Bobby publishes something, maybe you get an email. Maybe you get an email letting you know that, hey, he's publishing this content. This is what it looks like. Are you okay with it? And then right there within your email, you can say, wow, that looks great. Yep, okay, I'm going to accept that. Or you're like, oh no, you know what? He has something spelled wrong. I have to decline that. So we can even set up a permission level of when people are publishing content. Again, calendar application, we gotta see this little security guy here. So within the calendar, same thing, you guys can hide multiple calendars. So that way when Bobby logs in, he's only seeing the demo calendar. He can only modify that one. Maybe you want to give him that permission where it's like, okay, yeah, you can see all these, but you can only, what they call it, read. It means that you can only visually see what those events are, but you still can't modify it. You can't really do anything to that. So you could give him sort of a read-only access. Kind of jumping down to just a couple more applications here. If you do still have the schedule, again, not to confuse you guys, the calendar application is a newer application. However, we are still currently moving our clients off this application. So obviously that's kind of why you're seeing it there. But the exact same thing, guys. It's just a different little UI. If I do select that, I can sort of tell, okay, you know what, Bobby Joe can only see this schedule. I only have one, so it doesn't really do a good job sort of explaining that. But if I had multiple schedules, it would be the exact same thing where I can say, all right, he can only see this one, or he can see these two. Social media doesn't have one. Data list, if you guys do have data lists opened up. Once again, you guys, here it is. I have all these data lists, but when Bobby logs in, I only want him to be able to manage the Michelle test. Again, with these sort of overview permissions within the application, I can then give him that right where it's like, okay, you can read it, you can't add to it, or hey, I'm just gonna hide it completely. So know that those permissions are available for you. So that is sort of the walk through the permissions. If you guys do have any questions, definitely give us a call. Otherwise, I do hope you guys have a great day. Thank you.